everybody, welcome back to my channel. Good morning, Vlogsters. Coffee. So this is the cup that Jill made me, and this is a neoprene sleeve, and I really like it because it's got a handle. And it's flexible, and it was really inexpensive on Amazon. I wanted to find a sunflower cup like this, and they were very expensive. And I was like, I could ask Jill to make me one or pay Jill to make me one. But I really love her cup. I mean, I really love this cup. It means so much to me. So I started looking at like covers came up as a choice. And I was like, oh, that's a cool idea. And I like these ones have handles. There were some that had handles like this, but I really like these. And when I went to go price them, I think they were like, one of these was like $8.99, or I could get like 8 of them for $9.99. Guess which one I chose. So now I had a ton of them, and everybody was like, I was like, take a cover. You have a cup like this, take a cover, pick one. So it's got the sunflower. It had a like a rainbow tie-dye for Lisa, 2 different mini cacti, and one of them has like a lot, and that's the one Jimmy got. And one of them's got cactus with blossoms on them already. And then there's an animal print, like a leopard print. My home health aide took one that is, what did it look like? I want to say it had colors, like a lot of colors. So it might have been like a color block. And then there's one that's like mermaid scales. And if I can find, if they're still available, I will like insert a picture or whatever, but I love them. I mean, it does also insulate your cup, and it insulates your hands. But I love the fact that it's got a handle. It's like, you know, if you've been around and you've seen me drink coffee, I always love a big handle on a coffee cup. But I actually said to Jim, I'm like, I think, excuse me, I have 2 burps. Excuse me, 3 burps. Excuse me 1 second. Yes, sir.
No hash. Yeah, I didn't realize we were out.
Okay.
So just some fried egg or something. I can make some oatmeal.
So what?
Oatmeal.
Oh, oatmeal.
Oatmeal with compote.
What about you? You gonna have oatmeal too?
No, whip me up some scrambled eggs.
No, then I'll have eggs. I thought you said about making oatmeal. I just always start with a really hearty breakfast.
Ooh. Fried eggs with pierogies?
Scrambled eggs with pierogies is okay. You got a kibasi? You do pierogies and kibasi?
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, love you, thanks. Sorry about that. We were planning today on doing some work around the house, and I was like, let's start with, and it's cold. So I was like, let's start with a hearty breakfast of, I was thinking, I said hash and eggs, but he just came in to inform me that there's no more hash, which I'll put it on my grocery list. Excuse me. I said to Jim, I'm just about ready to, I think I'm ready to have my coffee and a Ray done every morning again. Because I could sit up. The thing is I am really enjoying our morning talks and coffee time. So this morning I suggested, like Julie, when she was here last year, used to sit on the couch. She would sit sideways on the couch so she could face me. And then I suggested that to him, and he's like, well, let me try sitting up in bed. So he sat up in bed, but he's like, I can't really look at you. I was like, that's okay. Like, you don't have to look at me. We're just talking. As long as we're engaged, you know. Sorry, I really wanted to wear that, like, I planned it, and then I tucked it under my ear because habit. Oh, so he sat up there, and I was like, I think I'm really ready to have, like, just my coffee. Look, how's your arthritis this morning? I can do this. I can't make a fist. I guess I could eventually. It just hurts. the whole coffee time chat started with the Ray Dunn cups and me sitting and having coffee with you. And that's really like, we can go back to doing that. I love my cup. I love my Jill cup, and it doesn't have to be just for hot stuff. I can put my like my water in this and put it in my office, whatever. So maybe my morning protein shake or whatever I'm having. Anyway, couple of things I wanted to talk about. Well, I have a voice back a little bit. Is I talked to you guys about getting a button to fill in my perforated septum. It is a flat piece of plastic with a plastic, again, I wonder if I could find that, picture of that online, but it's a flat piece of plastic, soft, like a softer plastics here, connected. And what the doctor did was she folded the one plastic up, tucked it in the hole, and then opened it up on the other side. But for some reason up here, like if I push this long enough, I will sneeze because it feels like an irritation. I don't want to make myself sneeze. But for some reason, like this one's fine. I can feel it when I push on it, but it's normally not bothersome. So I don't know if I'm also sure my septum is deviated. And I'm not 100% sure that it's not invasive of this nostril. Anyhow, it's actually causes quite a discomfort. Almost feels like I bruised my nose bone, or about, like almost like broke my nose or whatever. So I have a follow-up with her. It was supposed to be a 2-week follow-up, so maybe next 2 weeks, a week and a half, I don't know. Was it a 4-week follow-up? I'll look. It's either Friday or like next Friday. Anyway, I thought maybe it was the piercing, but the piercing like doesn't even hurt. I take it out, I clean it, I put it back, I change it, whatever. No, it's really just, it's up here too. It's not even like down here, it's up here. And last night I was able to like saline and medicine and everything to try to clear it out, and a big something came out. So what I think is if the plastic's not laying flat against the septum, I think that mucus could get behind it. And I think that's what's happening. I think that like some drier mucus is getting stuck behind the plastic, and it's causing an irritation. So I will bring it up to her when I see it. It's nothing worth calling. She actually said if it's very uncomfortable, call us and we'll take it out. Well, I was like, it's not very uncomfortable. It's just different. And I said, I think I mentioned this in a vlog previously, but I can't remember. I said it's kind of like the equivalent of like a thong. When you first wear them for the first time, you're like, but after a while, and any kind of thong, whether it's a flip-flop or whether it's the underwear. When you first start wearing them, you're like, this is uncomfortable. But then after a while, you don't even notice it anymore, So it's kind of like that. I'm still in the, it's a little uncomfortable stage. So this morning we still have oil slick across the left eye. I was wondering, and I forgot to ask the doctor, and of course it's the weekend, but nothing like bad. I was just wondering, is there anything that I could do to undo? Like, is it worse if I'm dehydrated, or is it worse if I drink caffeine, or is it better if I rest on my back? Like, I don't know what would help. Would gravity help? Kind of thing. So I forgot to ask him. I'll call the office on Monday, but I will see him on Wednesday. So there is that. Trying to think of what else I wanted to talk about. Oh, so this morning, I know, please don't yell at me. I know. When they said no brace, I went out gangbusters. And I know my orthopedist said, take it easy still. I've been using my walker. He said, don't rush it. But of course, I freed him. I feel like Mel Gibson on a horse. Just like freedom. Well, my knee, where the surgery was, again, my femur, like in the knee area, is so swollen. So swollen. And very uncomfortable. That I'm like, I know I'm supposed to take it easy. And I had to have like a very frank discussion with my husband yesterday. I said to him, and I've said this to him in the past, and I've said this to you guys before too, so this is just a reiteration. I said to him, I'm like, you know, and I know you know, I want to do everything that I was ever able to do before. And he's like, okay. And I was like, this morning, and it was yesterday morning, not complaining about my husband, just telling you guys a story. So yesterday morning, I was sitting down on the couch and they were bringing me stuff to organize. I told you guys that, I think. But he started to get like, after my aide left, he's like, you had us running around like chickens without a head. I was like, what are you talking? Like, I really had no idea what he was talking about. Literally, I took the boxes, I organized them into piles, and I said, this is to be filed, this is garbage, and this goes in its appropriate place. And, or actually, what it was is it was going back in the box for, like, the boxes under the long coffee table in front of my couch were, one of them was, like, my personal writing journals and stuff, or if I wanted a notepad or whatever. One of them was, like, all of the house financial banking stuff so that everybody in the house can access it easily. And like one was Jim's personal thing, and one was full of like the shopping bags that I fold up into triangles. So I sat there and I organized them into like, this goes back, this goes away, this is to be filed, this is garbage, whatever. We filled up a couple of good garbage bags, which is good. Just things we just didn't need anymore. And get so many mailing labels from charities. You have to like let the charity know, please take me off your mailing list because I don't want you to keep killing my planet, because I don't have any money to give you, and if I do, I'll do it online. Thank you. But we don't really correspond through mail like we used to, so I don't need 1,000 address labels, return address labels. Plus, I have to tell you, in 2020, before my brother passed away, Jim and I decided to sign up for the World Wildlife Foundation, like the Nature's Conservatory, Nature's Conservatory. Jimmy and I, Jimmy used to, like every year for Christmas, I would get him like a yearly membership for that. It's only like $20, and it wasn't his only Christmas present. Now it's still only like $22 or $26 for the year. And right before my brother died, we signed up for it. And I decided for the first time to sign us up together. So when they decided to send us mailing labels, they would say the Hensons. Because up until this point, in all of our marriage, we've had his mailing labels and my mailing labels. And if you don't put yourself on a mailing list as a couple, then you don't. Or if you address yourself as, like I could be Mrs. James Henson. However, the mailing labels would come in Mrs. James Henson. Like, it'd still be his name, but it would still be, like, my mailing labels. So finally, I was like, let's just sign up for both of us. And when they decide to give us mailing labels, we'll finally have ones that... And these ones just say the Hensons, which is nice. So we kept those, and we threw out all the rest. And I just hate throwing them out. I feel like it's so wasteful, but until you could tell the company to stop sending you stuff, it's sort of like, it's hard to... it's hard to manage it, if that makes any sense. Why do I have 1,000 push notifications right now? Sorry. The coffee table is gone. The living room looks so much more open. I talked to Jim. Oh, about being lazy. That's why I couldn't think of. So, of course, he still has it stuck in his head since I was, like, Since like I don't even know why when we were first married he started thinking I was lazy. And I know it's a work smarter, not harder type of situation. But I don't know if it's just because I'm overweight. Like, I don't really know. I honestly wish I knew. But I was like, Jim, I work 68 hours a week. Like, how am I lazy? Like, I don't even get that. Because when I come home after 60 hours a week, I'm tired and, you know, you work a part-time job and maybe you can make dinner and do dishes. Like, is that it? Like, I don't really know. So he would just get that way sometimes. You know, he gets caught in his own thing. That hasn't really changed over the years of being married. That, like, you know, if he is gaming and I ask him for something, he thinks it's more important to game. You know, like, why am I bothering you while I'm gaming? Why I could just get up and get it myself. Or whatever. But, I see it. I see it both ways. Or, like, he would disturb the cat. The cat would love to sleep on me. She would sleep on my chest or my belly. And he wouldn't care. He'd just shoo her off to go do whatever. But I don't want to bother him. I'm like, sweetie, I don't want to bother the cat. Would you bring me, like, fill up my water? Like, back in the day, this was. And I don't know if that's what attributed to it or if it's just, like, the outside forces, like, feeding the information. But he's like, you had us running around. I was like, what are you talking about? I was like, where did I have you running around? He's like, you said we were going to do the table and we ended up doing the whole living room. I'm like, why would you want to stop at just the table? Why wouldn't you want to just finish the living room? Like, why is, like, I was like, Jim, it was just that, like, I asked you to sit in that chair and you couldn't because there was stuff on the chair. So I was like, let's take care of the stuff that's on the chair. For so long, he's been just putting things down because he's been taking care of me. And I said, now I'm here to do it. You don't know what to do with everything, so give it to me and I'll take care of it. You know? And I said, anything that I could do that didn't require bending, I did. You know? He picked a bag up off the fireplace. There was a couple of Dollar Tree bags on the fireplace, and there were pumpkins and autumn stuff and Halloween stuff. So I was like, let's put up the Halloween stuff, pack the autumn stuff up for Thanksgiving, and, you know, just put the pumpkins out, and the pumpkins can cross over, because none of them were Halloween pumpkins. So we just threw up, like, literally, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pumpkins, one sign, one box sign, 2 hanging signs, and that was it. Like, I didn't have a ton of, and two bones. And I was like, this wasn't 1,000 things. This wasn't getting the boxes out of the attic. This was literally like, let's clean up this mess and let's put the stuff up so it's out of the plastic bag on the fireplace. And the fact that the room is finished, now he enjoys, but it's during the process is always what bothers him. And he said he didn't feel good yesterday, so that's why I tried not to push him, but he still felt like I was pushing him too much. So it's just definitely a matter of, like, sense of priority. But I had to sit down and tell him afterwards. I said, listen, I have to let you know something. He's like, what? I said, I still have cancer. I still take chemotherapy. And I still have physical limitations. I appreciate everything that you say, that I want, that you are tired and you don't want to help me do stuff, but I want my life back. I want to be able to bend over and pick up the bag myself. I want my life back. And I said, stop. The thought, don't let it enter your head for more than 2 seconds that I am being lazy and want you to do all the stuff for me. I said, now, that being said, when we used to decorate, it was actually your thing that if I sat there and gave out the decorations, you could just put them up. You're older now and you don't want to do that, that's fine. I was like, well, we don't even have the boxes of decorations to even do that different, you know? I said, but this is where, you know, it always has been, because you can climb on the fireplace. And, you know, it wasn't like this back in New York. Everything in New York, it was accessible. I was accessible to it. And here, with the couch, the way the couch is situated, I can't really get up and down easily behind the stuff because the coffee table was always there. In New York, I had my recliner, and the box was in front of me on the recliner, and I could scooch around the recliner, the boxes easily. So, it's, you know, he's very influenced by people's opinions. And I say to him, I'm like, but I'm your wife, and what is it, that what is it, like, what is it that's made you feel this way? And he's like, I really don't know. He's like, I know. Like, it's just, I said, is it because I'm fat? Like, literally, is it because I'm an overweight person and you just automatically associate that with being lazy? Like society does. And I was like, I really wish you wouldn't, because you've seen me hustle and do things, and I can do them. But I had to tell him, I was like, I still have cancer, and I'm going to be tired. And I still have chemotherapy, and it's going to make me feel one way or another. And I still have limitations where I can't bend, and I can't carry anything heavy. And I have to use my walker, so I can't even get stuff. He said he's going to get the bag that's on my rollator eventually from the car. But, like, I can't even take my coffee cup with my rollator out to the living room. I tried yesterday. It started to spill because it was a little full. So I was like, I had, like, my hand like this, and I was using the walker. And it kind of started to, like, not that the cup leaks, but it was coming out of the straw hole. So I had to, like, turn the whole situation around. But that's, like, the extent of it. Like, there's a handle on my water, But I tuck my phone and my glasses in my bra, which I'm not supposed to do anymore, but that's beside the point. But as far as, like, bringing me in something or taking the laundry out, I can't do that yet. I have to use my walker. So it just needed, like, we needed to have a conversation about it, because, again, he thinks it's hard to see me be able to have freedom now. No brace, so everything's back to normal. But it's not. And I was like, trust me, as hard as it is for you, you have no idea how hard it is for me. And it's to the point where I'm starting to be, like, a little offended. I'm trying not to be. How he is acting like I'm doing this on purpose, like how the people who don't like me on the internet say that I just love laying in bed all day doing nothing and having people serve me and send me things. It's the most ridiculous freaking comment ever. Like, if you obviously can tell that you've never had to lay in bed for a year, for you to have that goal and assumption that I want to have this kind of life. Crackhead. That's all I'm saying. But anyhow, it's definitely been, it was an eye-opening experience for him to have this conversation, because he really didn't understand, Like, just now I was like, I want to cook. And he's like, your knees are already swollen. Can you stand at the stove and cook? And I was like, no. Doesn't mean I don't want to. I love cooking. I love baking. Oh my God, I can't wait to bend over so I can put stuff in and out of the oven. God. I miss making the giant cookies for my family. The giant snickerdoodles. The giant sugar cookies. The giant chocolate chippers. Those are mostly for me. I wanted to make a keto version. I wanted to make the giant cookies a keto version. Mostly keto, because one of the things that makes the cookies so good and be able to sustain the size is it has a little cornstarch in it. Keeps them chewy and helps with their size, but to keep them soft and that kind of thing. But that would add carbs, but I don't know how many. That's the thing. I mean, it's not a lot of cornstarch. But if I added the cornstarch to the almond flour, it'd still be gluten-free. And if I replace the sugars with sugar substitutes, it's just something I want to try. Anyhow, that's been very, very difficult for myself in my own shoes. Has been the anticipation now. So now that it's like pacing myself. And there's a really funny TikTok that I saw. Actually, it was a reel on Instagram. I follow this lady who was she's the C. She's not the C word. She's the, I don't know. She basically has cancer. She's fighting like chronic illness. She did a thing about she getting her spray bottles out and her cleaning stuff, and she's like, and today I'm gonna pace myself and I'm gonna do the work and I'm gonna clean. And then the next scene she shot too, she's on the couch with like the rag over her face, and she's like, Lexi forgot to pace herself again. And gosh, does that feel like my life right now? Unbelievably so. You know, the next day I went, I got my brace off Wednesday, and by Friday I was gangbusters at the doctor's office. I walked all the way to the car. I walked all the way from the car to the doctor's office. I didn't have Jimmy drop me at the door. I walked all the way in the doctor's office, and I sat down on the rollator, waited to be called so I didn't have to get off a chair. You know, they were kind of low. And then when I got called, I walked back into the doctor's office, and I sat. And then I walked back out, and I walked out to the car. And actually, by the time I was in the foyer, I said to Jimmy, I just have to sit for a second. Because I'm doing it. You know, it's too much. And I look so confident doing it, maybe he said. I can't remember the word he said. He looked comfortable doing it. That he didn't really realize that I was even having any struggles. That I was even on the struggle bus. And I was like, boy, I was. But I just wanted to keep doing it, you know. And the same thing that when we went to the eye doctor, we left the ENT and went straight to the eye doctor. But I did have like a nice 45, 50-minute ride in the car because it was traffic. By the time I got to the eye doctor, I just like got my rollator and then I sat down after I checked in. And then I walked all in the doctor's office. I walked to the back, and I walked into the exam room, and, you know, I was like, we're doing tests, and she goes like, well, the doctor wants to look at you first, so. And then I left there, and I walked out, and walked out to the car, and by the time I got to the car, I was like, having trouble getting in the car. Which makes sense. I mean, it does make sense, because even though the physical therapy can't prepare you to walk that much in a row. And it's kind of like what I know, because when the physical therapist was doing it, I mentioned this 1,000 times, but when the physical therapist was here doing it, it was like a 30 to 45 minute like workout session in a row. And when I do it myself, I pace it. You know, I'd be like, oh, let's do the stand and sit and stand and sit, and then we relax. And then we do the ankle pups or squats, and then I relax, you know. This was like a constant go. So I know, you know, and Lisa was like, you have to get build your stamina back up again. I'm like, but here's the thing. It is, but it also isn't, because it's just, my body is like still fighting cancer, and the chemotherapy takes your energy to fight cancer, and you dig into your reserves for, you know, moving. And then I got to the point the other day where I was like, oh, I've got to pee. But I'm so sore. I'm so tired. Like, do I have to pee that bad? And of course, I don't want to wait, because it does take me longer to get to the bathroom. I can't just run to the bathroom. It does take me longer to get to the bathroom. So I'm like, Jerry, just get up and pull it out of your rear end and just go. And that's what I ended up having to do. But it was just like, still, I was like, I have to remember that I have to keep my reserves for like going to the bathroom. Changing my clothes if I have an accident. You know, like, whatever it is. Get myself something to eat. Now that I've taken all the food out of my room. You know. These are the things that are important. This is what I have to do. So, I think this has probably been a much too long conversation. Which I missed talking to you guys. Because my throat's starting to be like, girl, I think it's time to stop. As much as it's getting better, you can still hear that it's very strained. I love you guys. Oh my gosh, I love you guys so much. You have really made this journey bearable. You really have. It's hard to imagine going through it without you all by my side. And some of you are walking with me. And some of you have led the way. And some of you are trailing behind me, but we are all together. We're all together. I love you. If nobody's told you I love, please come by and hear how much I love you each and every day. Because if I'm here, I'll tell you. I promise. And as always, you take care. God bless. And we'll see you next time. Bye. Bye.